Yes, I can.
All right.
Any issue with my microphone? The last time I did one of these on StreamYard, I kept echoing in the recording.
No, there's no echo.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So, responding to my tweet about feminism, you said you wanted to debate.
Yes, not feminism. I said I wanted to debate your ideology against mine, which is what I've been wanting to debate with you for quite some time. And the reason I wanted to debate it with you is because I saw you utterly dismantle Dave Smith in a debate by asking him the very question that I had been wanting to ask him about what was his standard of morality. Once I saw you do that to him, I thought, well, I no longer want to debate Dave. I wanted to debate you.
Okay. What do you want to debate me about?
I wanted to debate with you about ethics.
Oh, okay. So Christian ethics against what ethics?
Objectivist ethics.
Objectivist being what?
Ayn Rand, the philosophy of Ayn Rand.
Sure. No problem. Let's go ahead and do that.
And I really just respect the fact that you did it this quickly. That's quite respectable.
Oh no, I'm happy to do it, especially if you're an Ayn Rand ethicist. So yeah, that's fine. Since you're the challenger, I'm going to let you open. I'll give you 7 minutes to make your case, and then I'll do a 7-minute response, and we'll just open the floor and go back and forth.
Okay. So are we on right now? I don't even know.
Yeah, we're live right this second.
Oh, all right. Perfect. Well, Ayn Rand's ethics, in essence, first, I guess the thing to do would be to define ethics. And ethics is ultimately a code of values that guides human behavior. So the fundamental concept in there, the concept that needs to be defined and explained, would be that of value. Because if values are subjective, then there can be no ethics. And Ayn Rand defined a value as that which you seek to gain or keep. I'd like to expand on that by saying a value is any object or quality that's desirable as a means or end in itself. So now the question becomes, well, where does this come from? Well, the whole concept of value only arises when you have living beings, living entities, because living entities are the only entities that face the alternative of existence or non-existence. At any given time, a living entity has to use the material that it gains from its environment in order to promote and sustain its life. So that being the case, an organism's life is its standard of value. Now, when it comes to human beings, the difference between human beings and all other living organisms is that human beings have free will. We have to choose how to behave. We have to discover those things in our environment that are good for us and that are bad for us so that we can pursue the former and evade the latter. That is the science of ethics, the things that we should do, those things that we should pursue. Now, obviously, I'm an individual. I'm an individual with free will, with a conceptual faculty. Reason is my means of survival. It's also my only means of knowledge. So that which is good for me is that which is good for a rational being or a being that uses reason as its means of survival. So if all humans are individuals and human life is a standard of value, then when I'm assessing what is moral or immoral, I gauge it by what is good for me and what is bad for me. That which is good for me is moral. That which is bad for me is immoral. But that's not enough. Once you know that, then you actually have to discover those things that are good for you. So if reason is my means of survival and my means of gaining knowledge, then I have to cultivate my ability to reason. I have to cultivate my rational faculty. So that would be a value. I also can't live aimlessly. To do so would be to utterly destroy myself, because I'd be living by whim, but whatever emotion happened to strike me. So I need purpose. So that's my second ruling value. Finally, I have to consider myself as worthy of living. I need to, one, have the confidence that I can achieve my life, can achieve my happiness, and I have to believe that I deserve it. That's self-esteem. So my three fundamental values would be reason, purpose, and self-esteem. Now, how do I go after those things? Well, I practice the virtues. Virtues are the means by which we attain our values. So that would be rationality, the use of my rational faculty. I have to be productive because I need to produce those things in life that are going to sustain me. Honesty, because I live in reality, so I have to live in accord with reality and not try to fabricate a fictitious one. Independence, because I'm an individual, and to live as a dependent on someone else would be to live as a parasite and could ultimately lead to my destruction, and ultimately would. Justice, because if I want to live in a good world, I should give to others that which they deserve and then expect to do so, that they would do so in return. And also because it's important to encourage the good and discourage the bad. Pride, which is just the pursuit of my own moral perfection. That's another one of the virtues, is constantly striving to be better, to not allow any breach, of integrity. Integrity, which means loyalty to rational principles. So if I am going to live an ethical life, those are the values and virtues that I need to live by. Now, you'll notice that none of these are commands from God. None of them rely on an extra sensory mode of perception. None of them rely on faith. It's all grounded in the nature of what I am and what I need to survive. And it's all contingent on one fundamental choice. I have to want to live. If I don't want to live, then ethics becomes irrelevant to my life. I just need to sit back and die. And with that, I think I can turn it over to you for your 7 minutes. I don't think I need a full 7.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Did you want to take a second, tell people where they could find you?
Oh, sure.
And maybe introduce yourself briefly.
Yeah. So, sorry. My name is Michael Leibowitz. I'm the host of the Rational Egoist podcast. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. And I deal with the type of thing that we're talking about today. Ideas in philosophy, economics, politics, psychology, criminal justice, whatever may be the case. If it's an idea, I'm interested in it. And just so everybody knows, I spent 25 years in prison. I've been out for less than 2. While in prison, I authored 2 books. One, Down the Rabbit Hole, How the Culture of Corrections Encourages Crime, and also View from a Cage, My Transformation from Convict to Crusader for Liberty.
Okay. So I'm going to make my my opening statement a bit more brief. I've been kind of taking some notes here as you've been going. Let's start with Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand was a scumbag. She, if I remember correctly, she was cheating on her significant other with a man who was significantly younger than she was. She was having an affair, dalliance. And most of her ethics came from the fact that she was trying to create justifications against universal ethics into individual ethics so that she could justify her said bad behavior. In her book, Atlas Shrugged, she made all of the corporatists, the good guys, that was the only way she could reconcile having a non-government, was that a government was then formed from a corporatocracy. And that's exactly what it became. John Galt took all of the major corporate heads, created a brand new government in an island somewhere. All that she did was shift one government to another government. It was one of the dumbest stories that I've ever heard. So the idea that you got your standard of ethics from Ayn Rand, I think, is laughable. But moving into the ethical claims themselves, all you did was give me an axiom. And on that axiom, you have built your entire ideology. The axiom is flawed. So let me explain the flaw in the axiom. We'll start with something simple, justice. All right, justice is universally very difficult to define. When you define justice, you define it as, I don't know, some way in which somebody rights some wrong against you. I have no idea what that means or how that could be a right? A righted wrong. Can you, for instance, if somebody cuts your ear off, do you cut their ear off back? Is that just? I think you could make the argument that it is, but from your perspective, I think you would argue that it is not. Though I don't know how you could make such an argument, right? So all of these just kind of blend from the singular changeable axiom, which is my preferences. So you say that Dave Smith, during my criticism of him, I'm going to give you the same exact criticism, and I guarantee you're not going to be able to give me any answer to it. So I'm going to belay the rest of my opening statement to just demonstrate this for you. Give me a reason why non-reproductive incest is wrong. A single moral reason why non-reproductive incest is wrong.
Well, first of all, I'm not just going to grant you to ask me that question. I'm going to address the other things you said. First, you addressed Ayn Rand's character, which is completely irrelevant to me. Your ad hominem attacks against her mean nothing as far as what she said. It's like saying, well, my doctor's real fat and he smokes cigarettes, so therefore if he tells me to take penicillin when I have a virus, I'm not going to do it. That's silliness. Her character is irrelevant. I don't care about it one way or the other. You then psychologized as to her motivation. You said she tried to change from a universal ethics from it to an individual ethics. That's false. Her ethics is universally applicable. You then said that I talked about justice as remedying some wrong. That's not what I said. What I said is justice means giving people what they deserve. That means rewarding the good and punishing the bad. As far as Atlas Shrugged being a sort of worship of corporatism, that's just false. Atlas Shrugged is a praise and a absolute monument to men of the mind, to people who actually produce, to entrepreneurs, to scientists. It has nothing to do with what we associate with corporatism today, or these corporations that are seeking favors from the government and that sort of thing. Now, as far as your question is, how do I say that non-reproductive incest is wrong?
Yeah.
Note that you're assuming it is. You're starting with the assumption that is
no,
wrong.
I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking you if you can make a moral argument.
I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not really something that I've thought in depth about. If you're talking about a brother,
why? How can all of you fall prey to the same argument every time? Can you tell me why? Can you make a single argument from your worldview for why non-reproductive incest is wrong, or can't you?
I didn't say it was wrong. I said I don't know.
So is it wrong? Is it wrong?
I don't know.
You don't know if non-reproductive incest is wrong?
No, I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, because you haven't thought.
Things in life I haven't thought about.
Okay, see, if a guy's walking down the street and he finds roadkill on the ground and he lives by himself and he picks it up and he has sex with it, is that wrong?
I would say yes.
Why?
It is. Well, here's the problem is in order to demonstrate that these things are wrong is you're getting into very concrete things.
Yeah.
And you have to get into the psychology of human beings, what revolts us, what doesn't.
Great. I'm waiting for you to do that to tell me why it's wrong.
The effect on us. And what, the roadkill thing?
Yeah. Why is it wrong?
Sex with roadkill?
Yeah, why is it wrong?
Well, because ultimately human beings were sexual beings. Right. And there is norms of behavior that are encoded in our DNA as far as what we ought to have sex with and not. For somebody to do what you're saying. That's
a fallacious argument.
Well, it's not.
Yeah, it is. It's an appeal to nature. You're just saying because you're doing a naturalist fallacy because you're appealing to nature. You're saying because we're sexual beings, we should be able to do this. That's insane.
I didn't say we should be able to.
Okay, well then, can you tell me why we shouldn't do it?
Hold on. Let's back up just a little bit.
Okay, we'll back up
because I do notice this is that you want to push me on these particular.
Yeah, I do because that's how I test your logic. So I want to know if it's okay to have sex with roadkill when it's on the ground. If it's not, why? Answer my question, sir.
Wait. Hold on. Do you think that if you raise your voice in that way and talk that way, it makes you right?
Yeah, no, dude, I think that you avoiding the question makes me right.
I'm not evading.
Then great, answer it.
I'm just pointing out the fallacy.
Yeah, there's no fallacy.
Hold on. For you to say that to appeal to nature negates an argument.
Yeah, it is. It's called the natural. Yes. Would you like me to give you the fallacy? Here, I'll give you the fallacy.
You could give me G.E. Moore's argument all you want, sir. I don't care. You're appealing to what he said. If you're saying that anything that
the appeal to nature fallacy is a logical fallacy that occurs when someone assumes something's good or bad because it is natural or unnatural. That's exactly what you did. It was a fallacious argument, called you out on it. Now, if you could please answer my question, that would be great. Is it immoral to pick up roadkill off the street and fuck it, and why?
If you think that ethics is going to boil down to whether somebody wants to have sex with roadkill, then your view of ethics is flawed.
Great. Can you answer my question?
No, I'm not going to.
You're not going to answer my question because you can't answer the question. Same thing as Dave Smith said the same thing. Oh, it's a dumb question. It's a dumb question. Why? You can't answer. Yeah, I don't understand. If it's a dumb question, why can't you answer it?
I will answer.
Okay.
I will answer.
Okay.
But I don't want to answer it now. I want.
Oh, that's nice. I want you to answer it now.
Well,
instead of obfuscating.
How it is. Okay, well, no.
No, don't ask me a question. Answer my question. No, don't ask me a question. Answer my question.
Does this tough guy act actually work with
No, I'm just trying to get you to not obfuscate. That's it.
I gave you my answer.
What's the answer?
That if a person has sex with roadkill,
I
would say it's wrong.
Why?
Because it's not in that person's self-interest to do so.
Why?
Why is it not?
Why is it not
in a person's self-interest to do so?
Yeah.
Because as human beings, we come with a certain psychology. To do things that are harmful to our psychology is harmful.
Demonstrate it's harmful.
What do you mean demonstrate?
You demonstrate it's harmful.
Demonstrate that it's harmful for me to have sex with roadkill.
Yeah.
Dude, this is so far away from an ethical discussion.
No, it's right in the ringer of an ethical discussion.
It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
no,
it does.
It has nothing to do with it.
You just said it's okay. I'm sorry. Did you make a claim just now that having sex with roadkill is wrong because it's harmful? So, since you made that claim, I'm critiquing the claim and asking you, how is it harmful? And your answer is, this is an ethical discussion. What?
That's not what I said.
Yes, it is.
Dude, no. What I'm saying is ethics has to do with the way that we live every day.
Okay.
Now, what I want to do is go back to first principles.
Yeah, that's great. I want you to answer my question.
But dude, I'm not operating based on your standards and your assumptions.
I know. I'm using your standards and your assumptions.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
My standard is this: is life the standard of value or not? Can you attack that? That's what I want to see.
Well, I don't know if we can get there, because right now I need to see if you even have
That's the first principle.
I just want to see if you have a coherent worldview at all. So I'm going to start with this.
My coherent worldview.
I'm going to start with this, if this is coherent or not.
Okay.
Tell me why, demonstrate to me why it's harmful to go in your backyard and dig up grandma if nobody ever finds out about it and fuck her corpse. Demonstrate why that is unethical or wrong or harmful. Demonstrate it.
Dude, if your view of ethics is so warped that you're looking at
this is not an argument. This is not an argument.
It is. It actually,
it's not.
is. Can I tell you why it is?
Yeah.
Can I tell you why it is?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it.
Because ethics has to do with the way we live our everyday lives.
Yeah, I know, like digging up a dead body and having sex with it.
Who's doing that, dude? Who's doing that?
Okay, you would agree with me that people have done that.
I would agree with you that is not the norm of human
behavior. So what? I want to know why it's wrong. Why is it wrong?
I want to know how you.
I don't want you to ask me a question. I want you to answer one.
I don't care.
You can't. You can't answer the question, bro.
I can, but I'm not going to play that game with you. Of course, I don't want to play that game with you. You can laugh and you can play all the games you want.
It's not a game.
And maybe your audience of dimwits goes for that.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Do you agree that inside of what you consider to be normative ethics, there's going to be sexual ethics? Sexual ethics is going to be a part of that, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And I'm asking you a question in regards to the sexual ethics of your system. Yes. And I want to know why it is that it's not okay to go hump a dead body. Why?
Dude,
tell me.
And I've told you 15 times, and I'll tell you again. If you want to keep asking me that, I'm going to keep telling you. I'm not going to address that until we address fundamentals.
Well, then we don't have anything else to talk about until you answer my question.
Hold on. Aren't you a divine command theorist?
Bro, it doesn't.
Yes,
are you right now? Hang on. Right now.
Yeah.
We have two ought claims on the table. You claim, right, that you ought not have sex with a dead body or roadkill or your sister. You claim we ought not.
Hold on.
Wait. You're not claiming that we ought not do that?
Hold on.
Or you are claiming we ought do that?
I said in terms. You asked me first. First of all, this is the dumbest ethical question I've ever heard of.
Then answer it. Yeah, answer it.
The reason I don't want to answer it
because
it grants. No, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, it is.
It has to do with granting you the sanction of a ridiculous question.
It's not a ridiculous question. Saying something's ridiculous to show me where it's fallacious, where I'm not asking you about not claim, where I'm not asking you about sexual ethics. Make a fucking argument. It's ridiculous. Isn't an argument. It's ridiculous. You want to answer the question.
No, what's ridiculous is trying to have an ethical debate and start off with the most purient, disgusting thing that you could possibly come up
with. Why is that wrong? Why is that bad for me to do? Why is it bad for me to test your logic by showing you that you have a flaw when it comes to sexual ethics? You can't answer basic questions about sexual ethics.
And I'm going, okay. The reason it's flawed is because we haven't even discussed first principles yet. Are you going to accept all the claims that I made and then ask me how having sex with a dead body violates those? Yes or no?
Listen, if it is the case that whatever you determine to be your first principles are not first principles, okay?
Can you refute the first principles?
Well, okay, stop.
That's what I want to know.
Stop, bro. Let's get into this first, okay?
Okay.
I'm asking you an ought question, very basic ought question under your worldview.
Yes.
Is it okay for a brother to fuck his mother or fuck his father if it leads to non-reproduction? Are they allowed to do that or not?
Okay, and what I'm saying to you is
you're not going to answer.
No, I'm not interested in discussing.
Well, okay, well, I am interested in discussing.
Why?
Because I want to know the entailment of your position. This will get to the heart of whether or not you can actually answer any of these claims when it comes to your system. Your ethical system covers sexual ethics. You want to go to first principles, argue over first principles, that's fine. That's fine. But first, before we get to that, the same argument Dave Smith fell prey to, you're also falling prey to.
No,
the entailment, yes, you just
prey. Hold on.
bro, hang on, let me finish and then I'll let you talk. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I just want an answer to this question. Can you, under your ethical system, whatever that is, right? Give me an answer to the question of why it would be wrong for somebody's son to have sex with them if it led to non-reproduction, or having sex with a dead body if nobody ever found out about it. Can you tell me why those things would be wrong?
First off, what Dave Smith fell prey to.
Dude, I'm not interested in this. I'm interested in an answer.
You said that my claim at the beginning was I respected what you did with Dave Smith.
That's great. I'm doing the same thing to you.
But you're really not.
Yeah, I really am. You still can't answer the same question.
Because, dude, back up to just talk first principles.
No, we can't. We're going to start with sexual ethics, and I want to know why? Because I want to know the answer.
Dude, does this yelling stuff, do you really think that accomplishes
Do you
something?
think that speaking softly, making no arguments isn't frustrating to people?
Dude, my argument is,
what's your
argument? The questions you're asking are irrelevant.
That's not an argument. That's not an argument. No, it's not.
Because it is. Want me to tell you why it's irrelevant?
I can't wait.
It's irrelevant to everyday life because the vast majority of people that are listening to this and that are walking around the world that need ethical guidance aren't interested in having sex with dead bodies, their sisters and mothers.
That's great, but they are interested in a system which can answer to the question of if you can or can't. So can we get back to whether you can or can't? Can you? Ought you? Is it okay? Or ought you not? Ought you not? Okay. Ought you not dig up grandma and fuck her? Ought you not do that?
Why do you talk like that?
Because I want an answer.
Okay. I'm going to answer that. And once I answer the dead grandma question, can we get to first principles? Yes or no?
Sure. But you better actually give me an answer.
Hold on. Because if I answer this question,
but
here's the thing. You can disagree with me and that's fine. But I then want to go to first principles.
That's great.
I don't want to spend all day.
Yeah, that's nice. But I mean, why would I argue? Why do I need to get to the first principles of a man who can't answer whether or not you ought not fuck dead bodies? Why would I even need to get to your first principles?
I said you ought not.
Yeah, why though? Why?
The reason you ought not to do it is because it's not in your interest to do.
Yeah, prove it. Demonstrate how it's not in your interest. Yeah.
Okay, as I've said, but then you say it's a naturalistic fallacy, but you're
That
wrong.
is a natural fallacy. I just read the fallacy. The appeal to nature fallacy is a logical fallacy that occurs when someone assumes that something is good or bad because it's natural or unnatural.
Hold on. I'm not assuming it's bad because it's not natural.
Okay, then why is it bad?
It's bad because the natural makeup of human beings operate in a certain way.
Okay, that's a naturalist fallacy. That's the same fallacy, bro.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
it is.
Let me ask you a question. Andrew.
Okay, then homosexuality is wrong because it's not natural.
That's not what I said. I didn't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Am I wrong?
I'm saying
it's not natural.
Wrong. I'm saying it's wrong because it's harmful to the person that does it.
Okay, then homosexuality is wrong because it's harmful to the person that does it.
No, because it's not harmful to the person.
Oh, okay, got it. Right. Okay, so now we have an argument. Great. Okay. Why is homosexuality not harmful?
Because homosexuality lies within the normal range of human behavior. It's not psychologically damaging to a person to engage in homosexual behavior.
Okay, so as long as you don't have psychological damage from screwing a dead body, right, and enough people screw dead bodies, then it's okay.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, but that's not my question as to what is the case. I'm asking you if people then, but this is an entailment of your logic. So as long as we had 2% of the population that screwed dead bodies, okay, and they didn't have any psychological damage that we could ascertain from it because they just said that they liked it like homosexuals do, then you would have no problem with people screwing dead bodies, right?
Andrew, if human beings could flap their arms and fly,
I'd like an answer to my question, bro.
It is because
this is an entailment of your argument.
It's not.
It
Because
is.
now you're introducing fiction into the equation.
No, I'm introducing. I'm asking is
introducing
this:
a hypothetical fiction.
is thing X wrong? You say nope. Thing X isn't wrong in this case. Homosexuality isn't wrong because it doesn't have psychological damage and enough people do it that it's within sexual normativity. So an entailment of that would be great. Then if it was within the purview of sexual normativity, stop, bro. Stop. Let me finish.
Hold on. No, because you're misstating my point of view.
Okay, go ahead and state it again.
I did not say because enough people do it, it's okay.
Okay, well then why is it okay again?
What I said, it's within the norm of human behavior.
Yeah, but what is norm except
That's
X amount of people do it? That's it. How do you determine what is normal absent that?
Hold on. The reason it's okay is because it's not harmful. That's why.
Yeah, but you're when I ask you to demonstrate how it's not harmful, you say because it's within the stop, bro. I just let you make your argument. Calm down.
You're right.
So
you're right.
If I ask you this question, I say, well, how do you know that it's within the norm? If it's within the norm, that must mean that X amount of people do it. Otherwise, it would not be normal. It would be abnormal, right? It would be something other than normal. Yes?
What do you mean? Say that again.
So if you say X behavior is within the norm of human behavior, right? X behavior, then that would require X amount of humans to do it in order for you to ascertain that it's normal. Otherwise, it would be abnormal, right?
Okay, I'll go for that.
Yeah, so if that is the case, then what the case you are making is that homosexuality is fine because X amount of people do it. I don't know what that number is, right? But apparently 2% is fine because that's about what the number of homosexual males is, 2%. So as long as 2% of people engage in it.
I think it's higher than that, but okay.
Okay, but let's assume in the 70s it was 2% then. It doesn't matter, right? The point is that you wouldn't say in the 70s that this was wrong either any more than you would right now when it's only 2%. So the thing is that all it requires is 2% of the population to do it because now we're inside of what is normal, right? And two, that it doesn't cause psychological harm. So then an entailment of this would be this then. As long as a person who is screwing a dead body is not being psychologically harmed by it, and you would have to demonstrate how they are, and as long as there was at least 2% of people who did it, you would now call this normal sexual behavior, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I can't wait to hear how.
No. Well, Andrew, this is my fundamental claim. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I stated it wrongly. Honestly, I wasn't thinking. This is not a topic, having sex with animals, that I think about regularly. Right.
I'm sorry that you don't think about sexual ethics regularly.
No. I think about sexual ethics between consenting adults.
Yeah, I know. But how do you test those things unless you put them to broader spectrums? It makes no sense.
Listen, you can do that. But this is what I know, right? In my ethical standard, I said that if something is harmful to the person acting, it's unethical. In homosexuality, first of all, it's between consenting adults. If it's not between consenting adults, then it's wrong.
Dead body. Well, wait, hang on.
Hold on.
I have to stop you one point at a time because I want to make sure I get this correct.
Yeah.
You agree with me that a dead body would not need to consent?
I agree. It can't.
Well, it would not need to.
No, but it can't.
Yeah, I know. But the intent, it would also just would not need to.
No. But that's not really the fundamental here that I'm talking about. I'm just saying it's as long as it's between consenting adults, it's okay. That's what I'm saying. But now I know that homosexuality, whether it be lesbian behavior or male on male behavior, is not harmful to the person doing it. I simply have never heard or saw or imagined a case of a person having sex with animals where it's not harmful to the person doing it.
Okay, demonstrate how.
Psychologically.
Demonstrate how. Demonstrate how.
Listen, what do you mean by how?
I want to know. I want to. So whatever the case is, when you say this is not damaging to homosexuals to engage in homosexuality, right? Yes. Whatever that basis is that you determined that was not harmful should be the same basis you can use to determine it is harmful if somebody does this with a dead body. Can you tell me what it is?
All I can tell you is that in terms of self-esteem, in terms of self-confidence, in terms of getting along in society, all these things. Now, the people that I've known, and all I can go by is experience, the people that I've known that have done this depraved stuff you're talking about.
You've known people who've done this stuff?
I served 25 years in prison. You bet your ass I knew people who did this stuff. None of them were well. They
Mhm.
were all felt badly about themselves. They all behaved in aberrant ways otherwise. So I can only go by the empirics. If you're looking for an axiom to say that if somebody does this, it's going to harm them, I can't provide that. But I don't believe in reasoning in that way anyways. I believe in empirics. And all I can
Empirics
say
requires inductive reasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Sure.
just using a base of an inductive argument.
And what I'm telling you is every person that I've met,
Mhm.
read about, encountered that has done the type of things that you're
Mhm.
talking about has been psychologically damaged.
So this is literally what you're doing right now is a second fallacy, which you're providing, which is literally you're making an appeal to self. You're just appealing to yourself and saying, because I have never met anybody that had good outcomes from this, that means nobody could have good outcomes from this.
No. What I'm saying
Great.
is
Then I need you to tell me why it would be then, by the logical entailment of this, then,
Andrew,
if it were the case, then, that a person did not have psychological issues from this and their self-esteem went up and they enjoyed the act and, right, nobody even knew about it. They were just doing it in their basement. Are they doing anything wrong?
Well, then we wouldn't be dealing with human beings as I know them.
Yes, you
That's
still
the
would be dealing with human beings as you know them.
No,
Yes.
because you're talking about a scenario that I can't even fathom. And you're saying,
what do you mean
if
you can't fathom it? You can fathom it fine.
I can't.
Do you agree with
Because
me that there have been men in history who have dug up dead bodies and had sex with them?
Do I agree that's happened?
Yes.
Sure.
Then you can fathom it fine. So now that we've established that you can fathom that.
Not what you said.
Yeah, it is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that all I would have to do is say, then as long as this sicko dug up a dead body and banged it, okay, and then said, I have much higher self-esteem because of that, and it makes me feel really good, that you would have no argument against it, correct?
If you're saying that say you had an entity, change it from human beings to some other thing, to for instance, let's look at dogs, for instance.
Okay.
Dogs have sex with their sisters. They have sex with all types of things. They eat feces. There's nothing ethically wrong with a dog doing that. A dog is, first of all, it can't make choices.
Well, a dog is operating off of what is mechanical.
Yes, but that's my very point, is that the nature of human beings is such that what you're talking about harms them.
No, you just okay. So here we go. We're starting with the rejection of the claim of harm, right? So here, I'll make this really easy for you.
Okay.
What harm could there possibly be from your view if a brother bangs his sister and she can't have children and they really love each other?
Okay. And what I'm saying to you is that scenario, I've not spent a lot of time thinking
That's
about.
great.
Maybe there.
I still need to know.
And what I'm going to say to you, Andrew, is maybe there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I don't really care.
You don't know. So in your world, if there is nothing wrong with that, then the laws that we have on the books against that would be unjust, correct?
Oh, I think laws on the books against against non-reproductive sex are unjust. Sure.
Okay. So
whether hold on, but that holds whether the behavior is right or wrong. It doesn't matter. It's consenting adults. There shouldn't be laws against it. That's a different question altogether.
Okay. So from your view, you don't think there's anything wrong with this?
I didn't say that.
Okay. Well, then can you tell me? Oh, look,
Andrew,
I need you to tell me one way or the other. Is it wrong or not?
Hold on. I don't know.
Oh,
Why
okay.
is that not enough?
Well, okay. From now on, every question you ask me, I'm just going to say I don't know.
Even if you know, so you'd lie.
Well, I'm not sure that I know. How would I know that I know? How would I know if I know something?
Well, now you've switched the topic from ethics to epistemology.
Yeah. So under epistemology, how would I even know? Right? Really know that you don't know. How do I know right now that you don't know that this is wrong or this is right? I think you do know. You just don't want to tell us. You just don't want to tell us.
Well, Andrew, here's the thing. There's two things that go on when you ask me a question like that. One, I've grown up in a culture that absolutely abhors that sort of thing. So my gut reaction is to be repulsed by it. right? My gut reaction is to be absolutely repulsed by it. But I also know that my gut reaction isn't a guide to making decisions. It isn't a guide to drawing conclusions. My rational mind is. And given that I have no interest in any relatives of mine, and given that nobody I know has any interest in any relatives of theirs, it's just not a topic of ethics I've spent much time thinking about. I have spent a lot of time thinking about whether people should lie, cheat, steal, be honest with other people.
Well, no, you're lying to me. And I'll prove that you're lying right now. So here's how I know you're lying. You say, I haven't spent much time thinking about this particular sexual ethic, right? That I could agree with. However, you don't really need to, because the entailment of the ethic is going to be the entailment of the ethic. In this particular case, you say if two consenting adults are doing X thing, right, they should be able to do X thing. That's not problematic from your worldview. As long as they're having sex and they're both consenting, that's not problematic. You just don't want to say that it's not problematic.
Andrew, I didn't say it's not problematic. I said it shouldn't be illegal.
Oh, okay. So it is problematic.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I said I have never thought about it.
Okay. Can you give me any type of consensual sex between two consenting adults that you would consider problematic?
Between two consenting adults?
Yeah.
Well,
any.
The only type of sex I've really ever thought about was sex with women that are adults. And I have thought about the homosexuality thing only because it's something that's widely debated.
Okay. Can you repeat my question to you?
Your question to me was, are there any type of consensual sexual behaviors between adults that are problematic?
Yeah. Can you answer that question?
And what I'm saying to you is, I don't know.
You don't. So not only do you not know if a brother and sister banging each other is problematic, but you're not even aware if any consensual sex of any kind is problematic.
Whoa. Consensual sex between adults is what you said.
Yeah.
And hold on.
And you don't know if any of that's problematic either.
Wait, hold on. But Andrew, I'm assuming you mean adults that are of sound mind and not some.
I assume that people who are engaging in incest are of sound mind too.
Okay, well, that's fine. And what I'm telling you is the incest question is something I have not thought in depth about.
Yeah, I didn't ask you about incest this time. I asked you a different question.
No. Yeah, but the only types of adult sexual behavior that I'm aware of are between men and women, men and men, women and women.
Yeah, and none of that's problematic as long as it's consensual, right?
Those specific things, of not between non-relatives you're talking about? Offhand, I would say no. It's fine.
Right. So wait a second. So you have thought about this. You have. Hang on. So you've thought a great deal about this, and as it turns out, you can't think of any form of consensual sex between adults, which would be problematic, and yet somehow when we get to incest, suddenly you don't fucking know. I don't know. Well, Andrew, I'm not sure. I really haven't thought about it.
Listen, here's the thing. I answered your question. I told you I have thought about it as relates to my own sexual behavior and the people I associated with, and I have thought it in regards to homosexuality because that's a common thing in our society. I have not thought about it in relation to incest. While my gut reaction finds it problematic, I can't immediately think to any objections to non-reproductive incest, but I'm not prepared to say, yes, it's completely moral because I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you a different question. In libertarian land under Ayn Rand,
I'm not a libertarian, so I don't know where the.
Well, you're an Ayn Rand. I'm sorry, you're an Ayn Rand ethicist.
Well, I wouldn't even say. I don't even like to really say that. I mean,
okay. Well, okay. Whatever.
Hold on.
I mean, you just gave your entire opening statement on it, but okay.
Yes. No, hold on. I'm an adherent to Ayn Rand's ethics.
Okay. Yes. Great. So
in the capitalist system that she advocates.
Great. So if you had a piece of property that was near a school, and the public put a school near your property, but not on your property, are you allowed to go up on top of your roof because it's your property and masturbate in full view of all the children at the school?
Expose myself to children? No.
Well, it's on your property though.
Hold on. But I'm clearly inflicting myself onto somebody else's property. But it also, I would say there shouldn't be public schools. So there's that. But why?
Well, wait a second. That's really weird.
No, hold on. No, it's not, because you told me that if we addressed the issue you wanted to.
I don't feel like we've addressed it yet. I haven't gotten an answer.
What is your obsession with sexual deviance?
Well,
dude?
because what it does is it's
No,
very
what it does is
useful.
demonstrate that
It's
you're weird.
It's
That's
really
what it does.
okay. Well, weird's not an argument. What it does
No,
is
it's just an
what it
observation.
does is it demonstrates how foolish your ideology is when you can't even answer basic questions that have been settled. By the way, settled for thousands of years. They've been
Hold on.
settled.
It's a basic question.
Basic, yeah.
Of whether it's ethical for brothers and sisters to have sex.
Yeah,
with
it's a
each
pretty
other?
basic question. Yeah,
That
for
really
sexual
isn't basic.
for sexual normativity in society, it's pretty basic.
That's really not a basic.
Yeah,
question.
it's a very
I'm sorry.
basic
No,
question.
It
Yeah.
really isn't. And what I said was,
Well,
I
then no
hadn't thought
question's
about
a basic question. What question
on,
is a basic
hold on.
question by your standard then? Is any question a
Fundamental
basic
que-
question?
Sure. Sure. A basic question would be, what is the standard of right and wrong?
Oh, that's a basic question, is it?
Yeah. Basic means.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's infinitely more complex, the question of
Yeah.
right and wrong, than whether or not a brother can bang the sister. How in the world could you say that right
have
and
put-
wrong,
hold on.
that
And
right
right
and wrong
wrong.
is a basic question, but
have
when
you-
I ask you, is this right or wrong, you say, I don't know.
I haven't thought about it. What do you want from me? I don't know. Like, how have you thought about every single possible behavior on Earth and the possible ramifications?
I think
morally of
I've
it?
thought
I
about
haven't.
most of the common ones, yeah.
But that's not common.
Yeah, it's pretty common.
No, not in my life. It's not. Maybe in your.
It's
circles,
more
dude, not
common
mine.
for people to engage in incestuous relationships than it is homosexual ones.
Not in my experience. I don't know who you're.
Well, it's not
hanging
an
around with, who you're
experience thing. We
talking-
have empirical data on that.
Okay, but it's not something that confronts my life.
It is something
You
that
understand?
confronts your life. What do you
It's
mean?
really not.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry.
really
You don't live in the society with these people then?
Not that I know of. If they're running around somewhere, they're certainly not telling me about it.
Okay.
This gets back to the very heart of the purpose of ethics and why we want ethical systems. And that is so that we can discover the proper.
That's so that
means to
we can
behave
just say,
on
I don't know, when
basis.
someone asks us what's right
no,
and wrong.
It's so that we can
It's so
live
that we
our
can say, I
lives
don't know.
ethically. No, it's so we can live our lives ethically. You're bringing up a scenario that's never confronted me, never will confront me, doesn't confront anybody I
Oh,
know.
okay.
So I've never thought about it. And you're saying, well, you should think about it. Well, I don't want to think about it. I think it's weird and it kind of creeps
Oh,
me
it's
out.
weird and it creeps you out. Great.
Yeah.
Great. So your standard for ethics is it's weird and it creeps me out.
No, because I'm not saying it's right or wrong because it.
Yeah, I
creeps me
know.
out. I'm
I
saying
know.
it creeps
You
me
want
out.
to talk to me about what is right or wrong, and when I ask you a question about what's right or
I will
wrong, you
talk
just
to
say, I don't know.
Oh, I will talk to you about right and wrong on a nimity of issues that I've thought about.
Mhm.
You want to focus on this weird one about brothers and sisters.
Mhm.
Why? I don't
Okay.
know why.
Well, then we'll continue with this. Then you say it's wrong for you to get up on your ceiling or on your roof and masturbate in full
Dude,
view
can
of
we
askew on
not
your
talk
private
about-
property, right?
Can we? Do you have to bring up these lewd?
No, they're
sexual
not.
things?
Listen, I
They
don't
are.
understand why you can't answer basic questions.
I did say it was wrong anyway, but I just would.
Yeah, I know,
rather
and
use
that's what we're going to
example.
test. That's what
But
we're going to
hold on.
test. That's what we're
Hold
going
on.
to test.
But wasn't this supposed to be a give and take? Or
Yeah, we haven't got to the. I haven't gotten a position out of you yet.
You got a firm position. On
No,
me. Absolutely.
I don't know. It's
No,
not a
you did.
position.
That's on one instance, Andrew.
Okay, well then
hold
I'm
on.
trying to move to an instance where I don't get an I don't know. So here, I'm going to move to a different one. Okay? So in this particular case, you're on top of the roof, right? You're jerking it on your own private property, right? It's your property. Who are you harming?
I'm harming the children that are watching,
How?
whether I'm on my property or not.
How?
Well, I'm harming them first of all because they're being exposed to something that's not age appropriate for them, that they shouldn't be
How
seeing.
do you make that determination?
Because I make that determination because what the nature of children are. Again, and now you're
The
gonna say
nature,
natural
wait, the
sexuality.
nature of children?
Hold on. Yeah.
What if they're
Our children-
teenagers?
Hold on. Our
So what if it's
chil-
what if it's a middle school?
hold on, but you asked me about children. Now you're going to middle school.
Well, I still
Why?
think those are children.
Why?
I still think those
Well,
are
no, no.
children.
But once I answer that, then you're
Mhm.
going to go to adults.
No, I'm not
Why?
going to go to adults. I'm just going to
Okay.
stay. I'm staying with children.
It's the same thing because if
I
it's
want to know
children-
why it's not age appropriate.
Hold on, I just answered you.
Yeah, you just said because you did the
No.
same fallacy again, appeal to
Dude,
nature
hold on.
fallacy.
Yeah, it's not an appeal to nature fallacy.
Yeah, it's because of the
No.
nature of children. What
It
is
is.
that? You're saying that there's an ontological nature of children that's going to
I'm
harm
saying
them?
that what I'm saying is because of what children are, they're not ready for that type of sexual
Prove it.
exposure.
Prove it.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Do you think they are?
No.
I mean,
No,
prove
I
it.
don't. But
I
I'm
can prove
not.
it.
I'm
Hold
doing
on.
an internal critique. It has
Hold on.
nothing to do with my
Okay.
position. My
Andrew, hold on.
position
I will.
had nothing to do with your position. Nothing.
Andrew, so my position is, again, based on empirical reality of children who have dealt with that stuff, they've been harmed. They've been psychologically scarred. That's what happens.
Can you demonstrate that?
I can only demonstrate it with stats and reports.
Then do so. Well, I will wait.
Well, I'm not going to sit here and Google it. Do you think it harms?
It's your claim.
It's your claim. You asked the question.
That's not a claim. A question's not a claim, you ignoramus. Do you know the difference between a claim and a question?
Oh, tough guy.
Whoa. I'll drop the soap on you, bro. I'll drop the soap on you, bro. You went from 0 to felon in 2.5 seconds, didn't you? 0 to felon in 2.5 seconds.
Dude, it's not going to felon. It's talk about having a respectful discussion.
Listen, it's not respectful. You have to be an ignoramus if you conflate a question with a claim. A question is not a claim.
No, you're right. I misspoke. I apologize.
So moving back, I made no claim. I'm doing an internal critique on your claim.
Hold on. You asked a question, and my answer was based on the empirical reality of reports of all the psychology I've studied that children are harmed by this type of
thing.
Me. You're asking me.
Show me.
Show you what? Data?
Like yes, you're an empiricist.
Okay, so if I get the data for you, then will you move on?
Yeah, if you get the data that you can demonstrate that it's harmful for children to see naked adults, right? Then I want to see it.
Hold on. You didn't say naked, dude. That's not what you said.
Okay, I see. So as long as you're on the roof totally naked, it's okay.
You changed the question now. You switched the question.
No. It's in the same theme of the question. If you're sitting on your roof naked in front of all of these middle schoolers,
hold on.
Tell me the harm.
All right, dude. So I just Googled your question. Do you want me to send them all to you?
Yeah, send it to me via Twitter. Now, if this is a study, and I'm going to go through the study right this second. I'm real good at doing it because I argue with progressives all the time. If this has nothing to do with the question, I'm going to demonstrate it in 5 seconds, and we're going to get right back to it.
No, you know what? I'm going to send these to you after. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, I don't care what you care.
Yeah, I don't care that you don't care that I don't care.
Yeah, I wanted to have
we are having a discussion about ethics right this second.
No, you're not.
Yes, we are.
Actually, no, you're talking about sexual deviance.
Yeah, I'm talking about sexual ethics.
No, you're talking about sexual deviance.
How do you know it's deviance unless you're using an ethical standard?
I am using an
Great, then we're talking about sexual ethics, sir. Then we're talking about sexual ethics right this second, sir.
Okay, can we talk about?
Yeah, we can. As soon as I need to get. At some point, I need to know that I can get a single answer out of you.
You got it.
What is the answer? Okay, so here, I'll just make this super simple. Guy owns his house, middle school next door. He gets on top of his roof every day, completely buck-ass naked. Demonstrate the harm.
The harm is the reports of kids. Do you think
what reports?
Serious.
My position has nothing to do with your position. How?
It does. Because
how does my position have anything to do with yours?
Because I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that most people understand that this harms children.
That's an argument ad populum. But another fallacy. You're a fallacy machine. You can't make an argument. Yes, an argument ad populum. You just say because most people know it, therefore it's true. That's an argument ad populum.
I didn't say that's why it's true. That's not what I said.
You said most people.
No, I said most people know it. I didn't say.
Okay, well.